Hello, my friends. Thank you for being here. This is your psychologist, Analina Alvarez. And once more, I want to share with you the difference between a thermostat and a thermometer. And I'm sure you know already, but I want to compare it with our lives and how we can actually relate to them. Because many times, if we define what a thermometer does, and thermometer will, the function of it is just kind of read how the temperature is, and that's it. It just reads the temperature. It has very, you could say, is very limited. It doesn't do anything else. So a lot of times, if we compare our lives to a thermometer, we realize that our lives are limited, and not because life is unfair, but because the way we think, we limit ourselves. So I always tell people that our limitations are not physical, are mentally, and I can prove that. And you can easily go to other YouTube channels and look up different people that have no legs, no arms, and they are so successful. And you would say, well, you can give any excuse why they are successful, but then you look at their body and they have all these disabilities on their body. They, a lot of people can't talk, they can't move, nothing, but they are so successful. And that gives you an idea that our limitations are not physical limitations, they're mental limitations. So how do we actually get rid of those limits? How do we get rid of limited ideas? And the way we get rid of them is we actually name them first, because we need to know what they are, right? If you don't know what they are, how can you eliminate them? So actually take your time to kind of draw down what are your limitations in your mind about your job, about your career, about your relationships, about money, about so many things, about your physical appearance, about all these things that you feel you're limited and you feel that there's nothing else you can do about it. I can tell you one thing: there's always options to do something about it. And if you're telling me, no, there's not, that's one of the limits, that you are actually believing that there's nothing else you can do. There's always things you can do. There's always different options, even though the different options might not be something that you like, but they're still there. So the options are there. It's just a matter of us actually choosing them. So we have free will, and we have the will to actually make decisions, limited decisions, or outspoken decisions, or decisions that will take us to a very limit of life, or decisions that will actually give us, a life that you cannot even imagine, because your mind is not limiting you to do it. So if you can actually imagine whatever it is that you want, you can actually see, put it into action, and work on it and reach it. There is nothing that could stop you if you can imagine something, because it's like giving a candy to a child and then taking it away. God wouldn't do that to us. If we have that mentality to see it in our mind, we're capable to actually reach what we want. So that would be, if we are comparing ourselves to a thermometer, that we're limited. But if we talk about the thermostat, what does the thermostat do? So what it does is actually it kind of feels the environment, feels the, if it's too hot, you can put it to the amount or the temperature that you want, or if it's too cold, the same thing. You can actually put it to the perfect environment that you want. So the thermostat will change the environment. And a lot of times we want to be that way. We want to change the bad environment, that maybe you go into a house and there's a very bad environment in there, and you want to be the person that changed that environment, even if it's for a little while, even if it's for the time being that you're there. I mean, you can't go changing people, but I'm talking about the environment, the way you move around with people, with friends, with the family. So if it's, that thermostat will, if it's too cold, you put it in a temperature where it's perfect. And if it's too hot, same thing. So what happened with our lives when we are actually going through a really hard time? We can say when it's too hot, right? Like when we're going through so many bad things, or we're getting hurt and we're in pain, we can actually just sit there and look at it and stay there. Or you can actually work through what's inside of you and get the good things out, the things that you already know what to do, the things that you can actually bring out of you to make things better around you. Don't limit yourself to stick to the bad environment. Do something about it. Even if it's a walk in the park, even if it's doing something for someone. When we limit ourselves, we don't go out there and do what we can do for others. We don't go out there and we don't help anyone. But think about it. When you are going through a really hard time, you know what? I'm also been through a really hard time. I gave you a list of things that I've been through, but I'm always searching to look the positive out of the negative. Always. That's my goal. And not because, I'm looking at everything. I can look at things the negative way. Yeah, I see things that are negative, but how am I going to handle it is my responsibility. Is how am I going to feel is my responsibility. It's no one else's responsibility. Even though people out there are going to, a lot of times hurt you or try to make you feel bad, but in reality, they can just throw trash at you. But what are you going to do with that trash? Are you going to keep it, or are you going to throw it in the trash can? That's your decision. Okay, so let's compare ourselves to being a thermostat, that we actually change the environment, not only for others, but for yourself, for your family, for your loved ones, for your partner, for wherever you work. Sometimes I notice different. I used to go to different clinics, to visit different clinics before, and I remember that when I would go to a specific clinic, I didn't really like to go there because the environment was very toxic. I mean, I didn't work there. I would just visit because I would do translation. So I would go there, and you could feel like the tension. Everybody was pretty rude. It's starting from the lobby, going inside the doctors. I mean, it was a little bit, very not very friendly. And I didn't really like going there, but I knew it was just like, to do 1 hour or something and then get out. But then I would go to another clinic where the environment was so beautiful. I mean, everybody was friendly, everybody was nice, starting from the receptionist to the doctors and everybody else. So it was like, I started analyzing, like, okay, what's the difference, and I realized that the manager was the one setting the environment for everybody. The manager was really sweet, really nice, really polite. So she would transmit that to her employees. And I don't think she would have allowed them to act in a very bad way. So I guess, she would change the environment for everybody. And the same thing for the other clinic. The other clinic, that lady, there's the manager. I kind of find out who the manager was. And I was like, oh, now I know. The manager was pretty rude, very, not very friendly. So I was like, wow, one person can change the environment, and you want to be that person. You want to be that person that can change the environment to make others happier, to make others so they can remember you as like that special person. Whenever I would talk to that person, she would bump me up, she would help me, she would always have a special word. And they're gonna want to be with you. They're not gonna run away when you come around. I notice people that are like, oh my god, so and so is coming, I'm not gonna, they leave. And then there's the other side, that when somebody is very nice and friendly and gives that good environment, everybody wants to be around them. So I hope that you can become one of those persons that actually can change the environment from toxic to very nice and polite and friendly, so everybody can love you. And you know what, it's up to you. You are the one in charge of your limitations and your future. So I really hope you like this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't. And I will see you in my next video. You take care. Bye bye.